Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. If it's one thing that I can say with absolute certainty is that, as sure as death or taxes, a dirty dev more often than not will do something or attempt to do something completely reprehensible and amoral in their attempts to silence critique, remove information, or do anything in their power to keep their actions out of the disinfectant that is the light of day, or attempt to cause damage to whomever so happens to call attention on their actions. There are varying degrees of dirty devs, but among the worst are the ones that act in a truly malicious or spiteful manner. And such is the case here with ReadyUp Studios over the recent controversy surrounding their yet-to-be-made MMO game Oath and their battle with a subcontracting development team, OceanSpark Studio, and specifically the actions they attempted to take with the YouTuber Cryy, whose channel I will link down in the description. And I would like to remind people not to go after the developers directly. Don't speak to them, don't engage with them. If you attempt to attack them on social media or any other public forum, all you will be doing is providing them with a moral high ground that they absolutely do not deserve. No, instead, I would simply ask that you share this video wherever you can. Warn people about the actions and attempted actions of these developers. It is important that the consumer is aware so that if they do care about such things, they will know to avoid this developer like the plague. Now, I myself recently published a video discussing the battle between ReadyUp and OceanSpark that I will place a card for that video in the upper right corner of your screen. If you have yet to watch that, I would suggest you do so before finishing this video, as there will be a lot of information discussed in that video, as I will only be touching on the previous highlights here. So to recap what had happened, now OceanSpark were hired by ReadyUp to create art assets for the video game Oath, which they did for some time, being asked to assume more and more duties over time as ReadyUp were impressed with the work that they were doing. ReadyUp then asked OceanSpark to implement motion effects with some of the foliage assets, which is typically done via lighting and texture assets. OceanSparks themselves had little experience with such things, and so they pulled up an asset that they had purchased from the Unreal Asset Store and, per their own statements, had intended to use that asset as a reference to create their own. However, OceanSparks uploaded the Unreal Store asset to the build. This is something that they stated was an accident, which ReadyUp claims is impossible to do within the tools they were using. ReadyUp then acted in what I would label an exceptionally childish manner. Instead of talking to OceanSparks about the issue, instead of considering the possibility of a simple mistake, of human error, they immediately assumed that OceanSpark were attempting to pull a fast one on them, receiving payment for original assets while uploading pre-purchased assets instead, which would be against the Unreal Store terms of use. If so, this would, ironically enough, given the primary topic of this video, be a copyright infringement. ReadyUp decided to not say a word to OceanSpark, stop paying them, give them excuses, and have them continue creating assets for the game, leaving them completely in the dark. ReadyUp claimed this was in order for them to be able to investigate all of the other assets OceanSpark had created for the game. However, given the reaction involved and the immediate assumption that OceanSpark were not on the level, I think it more likely something else was going on that we're not currently aware of. There was some back and forth, which resulted in OceanSpark releasing a massive Google Doc outlining a great many allegations against ReadyUp and a defense of themselves. ReadyUp then posted a response to that document, then reached out to OceanSpark and sought to take the argument out of the public eye, with the stipulation that they both remove their statements from public viewing. Both of them did, however, ReadyUp very quickly reposted their initial statement, which prompted OceanSpark to do the same. The YouTuber Cryy then produced a lengthy video discussing these issues and conducted an interview with two members of OceanSpark, and this got the attention of BigFryTV and many of our shared viewers, which in turn got me to take a look at the situation myself. ReadyUp then released a larger response, and contained within that was a direct statement that they were going to sue Cryy, claiming something we've heard dirty devs resort to countless times, the cry of defamation. And in that statement, ReadyUp showed a laughable lack of comprehension as to what defamation actually is in instances such as these. It is, quite simply, not a lawsuit that, if filed, they would be capable of winning. As a result, within my video, I discussed how both sides, meaning the developers, not the YouTubers, handled the situation inappropriately, how ReadyUp were both not on the level and acting in a highly unprofessional manner, and how OceanSpark took some of their screenshots seemingly out of context in order to further paint a narrative that might not be entirely accurate. Since then, I've kept in contact with Cryy via email out of concern, as I do not believe he's in a financially suitable situation to be able to fend off even a spurious lawsuit such as the one threatened by ReadyUp. Also, he has little experience with the vindictive nature of some people, and this is a style of content that is new to him, so I hope to at least provide advice if wanted, or a sympathetic ear if needed. And to his credit, Cryy was, within his video, acting from a place of compassion, which seems to be in short supply these days. He strikes me as a respectable individual. And earlier this week, Cryy sent me a DM stating that ReadyUp had attempted to file a DMCA strike against his channel over his video discussing this situation. He expressed reluctance to deal with it publicly as he was afraid it would spur ReadyUp to further action. So I convinced him to allow me to create my own video discussing the DMCA strike attempt, because if it's one thing I know how to do well, it is fight an unscrupulous developer with no morality or ethical standards. Cryy agreed and provided unredacted screenshots of the emails he received, which I have redacted myself in order to protect anyone's information that might not be already public information. What Cryy received was a YouTube notice that a DMCA takedown request had been filed against him. Now, be aware that his video was so completely within the realm of fair use that YouTube refused to take action on the video. Now, this is important because if YouTube denies a DMCA takedown request, they accept liability by doing so, meaning that if ReadyUp were to proceed with a lawsuit based on copyright infringement, they could also drag YouTube into the lawsuit as well. So you can imagine YouTube would not be willing to accept such liability unless the video was beyond a shadow of a doubt fair use. And as a result of that claim denial, YouTube also provided the entire thread of communication they had throughout the process with the claimant. This is standard procedure. I should know, I've received more than a few of these emails myself over the years. The attempted claim was based upon 2D and 3D assets of the game Oath and was filed by our good buddy Stewie, not that one Bador, the same one discussed in my previous video on ReadyUp. When YouTube asked for further details as to what would make this copyright infringement, Stewie, not that one, stated the following. My company is making a video game in which a lot of our new 3D assets have been published illegally within this video. We did not give our permission to use any of these images of our game assets to this YouTuber. We can provide any original artwork to confirm it is indeed our original work. I just don't know the best way to do that since there are a lot of assets to show. And then our good friend Stewie, not that one, provided some timestamps to illustrate the assets in question. The first was 12 minutes and 30 seconds in which the Cryy video was showing this image during his interview with Ocean Spark. The second was 17 minutes 11 seconds, which ironically showed the same screenshot. The third timestamp was 18 minutes 13 seconds, which showed some flowers and a tree stump. The fourth was 22 minutes 56 seconds, which shows the world map. 33 minutes 25 seconds, which show the South Pier starting area, and then 34 minutes and 20 seconds, which showcase some props and stone assets. YouTube then responded to Stewie, not that one, then reminded Stewie, not that one, that fair use is actually a thing and must be considered. Stewie, not that one, responded to YouTube with the following. Fair use does not cover illegally obtained unreleased to the public artwork for our upcoming game and making money off of it. This video is on track to being the uploader's most viewed video because of the copyrighted material that is shown that nobody was supposed to see yet. And right there within that statement, there is at least one misperception on the part of Stewie, not that one, and one outright lie. Firstly, Cryy's video, The Truth About Oath, is not monetized, meaning there are no ads running on it, and thusly he is earning no ad revenue from it. That would be the misperception. The second would be that the video was on track to be his most viewed. The lie is that the video is on track to be the most viewed. When looking at Cryy's uploads, there are numerous videos that meet or even exceed, some greatly exceed the number of views on the video in question. That would be Stewie, not that one, outright lying to YouTube, something I suspect Stewie, not that one, and ReadyUp are rather experienced at doing. And within that email thread, we actually garner some indication as to why Stewie, not that one, is likely doing this when he says, "We lose the curiosity and surprise factor for when we upload our game trailer. Our Kickstarter project used low-end art assets. One of our promises was to recreate all the 3D models and graphics. This video shows a lot of that, which now we cannot control our own trailer and we will get significantly less attention because of this video leaking our IP, and as a result, we'll lose money." So we have a developer deliberately abusing the DMCA system to strike down a video because he is afraid it will deflate any hype surrounding his game. Gee, where have we heard that one before? Yes, it is the same tactic Sega of Japan used when they filed numerous spurious DMCA strikes for Shining Force videos in order to guarantee that their new video game would rise to the top in search rankings. Fans of Total Biscuit know that debacle rather well, I would think, as he himself received 2 copyright strikes and some smaller channels were wiped off the face of the map entirely. But I suspect it's more than that. To my knowledge, there were 3 YouTubers who had created videos on this topic that gained any sort of traction in terms of views. There was Cryy, there was BigFryTV, and there was myself. BigFryTV had already privated his video as he was concerned that his video might have been passing along potentially inaccurate information after a long discussion between him, me, and Mello Online, as we thought 3 brains were better than 1 in this instance. So that left 2 YouTubers with significant views on their videos still currently visible to the public. Now, bear in mind, I showed these assets in my video as well, and yet nothing at all has happened to my channel. No attempts made, no threats. They simply ignored me, even though I know for a fact that they did see my videos. They were discussing it in their Discord channel with the public. No, the only video they attempted to take down was the one that had the most views and was the most damaging to their public image. Again, where have we seen that one before? One last thing is that they knew this video was out there. They knew the content contained therein. That is plainly evident as they had threatened Cryy with a defamation lawsuit already, and yet they waited for nearly a full month before they decided to attempt a DMCA strike? No, I'm sorry, it just doesn't add up. Now, I suspect what was going on here was ReadyUp went to an attorney with the intent of filing a defamation lawsuit against Cryy. The lawyer then looked everything over and then most likely told them that if they were to try, there would be an extremely high likelihood that they would lose. And so, they couldn't have that negative information out there that painted them in a clearly negative light. Oh no, we can't have that at all. So, they tried to force the video down. And no, they did not reach out to Cryy privately and ask him to remove it, as I know some of you will probably be wondering. Cryy confirmed that with me already. If there was any doubt in my mind that ReadyUp were in the wrong, this has quickly washed it away and has left me filled with nothing but the utmost contempt and disgust. The DMCA strike system is not a toy to be played around with lightly. It is not a weapon to be used to bludgeon your detractors in order to prevent negative PR and decrease any hype the developer might be able to generate over the game. Even the pathetically thin excuse made that this would harm their profit potential is laughable at best. This is an indie Kickstarter of an MMO. How delusional can one be to think that people are so starved and rapacious for any scrap of information that they would flock to a video merely to look at some blades of grass, some flowers, and some extremely basic assets and think that that would be the thing that would cause harm to the hype surrounding your game? It is as insane as it is asinine to even consider, but it also speaks greatly to the mental capacity, or complete lack thereof, in regards to these developers. If you think showing a couple of plants is going to take away from the hype generated from your video, which they still haven't released yet, by the way, despite their promises, claiming that it was at the request of their new subcontractors, which is probably one of the more idiotic and painfully fraudulent excuses I've ever heard of. If you think that is going to take away from the impact your hype video will have, then you are beyond mental. Here's a thought exercise for these developers if they even have the cranial capacity to formulate a coherent thought. Which do you think will generate more harm to your reputation and the future of your game? Refusing to pay your contractors while stringing them along and having them create even more assets for you which you know you will never pay for? Will it be attempting to file a clearly spurious DMCA strike against a YouTuber that you have already threatened with a defamation lawsuit? Or will it be a couple of blades of grass and flowers? These developers would not succeed in a lawsuit, so they attempted a DMCA strike. Thankfully, a rare instance of YouTube actually paying attention occurred, and they stopped the attempt before any harm could be done to Cryy's channel. It is beyond despicable to see developers act this way. Cryy is not a bad person. He acted from a place of ethical morality and legitimate concern for the Oceanspark developers, and as a result, he has been forced to deal with some of the most pathetic, vindictive, and petty examples that the indie games market has to offer. Don't buy their games. Don't support them. Do share this video to as many people as possible so they can be made aware. They have failed in this attempt, but who knows how long and in what form the next actions these weaklings will take. ReadyUp Studios are developing Oath, a Kickstarter-funded MMORPG, and they are a dirty dev. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. I'll see you next time.